Our top story this evening, the government today justified its decision to send CBI's top 2 officers on leave, saying it was done to ensure fairness and institutional integrity. The government also said that an SIT will be formed to investigate all charges. The current Joint Director, Nageshwar Rao, has been appointed as the agency's interim director after Alok Verma was asked to go on leave. The Special Director, Rakesh Asthana, has also been sent on leave. Now, 13 CBI officials also have been transferred. Just 13. These 13 officials were supervising the probe against the CBI Special Director Rakesh Asthana, who was relieved of his duties on Tuesday. The CBI Director Alok Verma has now moved the Indian Apex Court, challenging his compulsory leave. The court will hear Verma's petition on Friday. Remember, the government of India's order that sent Verma on leave followed a recommendation by India's Chief Vigilance Commissioner. India's Central Vigilance Commission is responsible for checking corruption among employees of the Indian government. The body believes that in order to conduct a fair probe, the officers in question must step aside. CBI's Director Alok Verma and Special Director Rakesh Asthana have been involved in a bitter feud for months. The top officials have accused each other of corruption. CBI has accused Asthana of extortion and forgery. The agency had earlier filed an FIR against the Special Director. In its FIR, the CBI had accused Asthana of receiving bribes from businessman Satish Sana in return for a clean chit to him in the Moin Qureshi case. And Rakesh Asthana had earlier written a letter to India's Cabinet Secretary. He had also alleged that the CBI Director Alok Verma was engaged in corrupt practices instead. Asthana had claimed that Alok Verma had received kickbacks of 2 crore rupees to settle the case of Satish Sana. The Central Bureau of Investigation has come out in defense of its chief Alok Verma. But let's listen in to what Arun Jaitley, the Union Minister, had to say today.
The Central Bureau of Investigation is the premier investigative agency, and the maintenance of its institutional integrity is a precondition. It's absolutely essential. CBI का आरोप स्पेशल डायरेक्टर के ऊपर है, तो सीबीआई के 2 बड़े अधिकारी, सबसे बड़े अधिकारी जो हैं, उन दोनों पे आरोप है। अब इसकी जांच कौन करेगा? The requirements of fairness and fair play have to be there.
Now, amid the raging internal war within India's premier investigating agency, the government has now put forth reasons for divesting the CBI director. Now, the Central Vigilance Committee received a complaint about a series of grave allegations against senior functionaries of the CBI. The Central Vigilance Commission claimed that the CBI failed to furnish the records and files before the commission, and that the CBI under Alok Verma was not cooperating in making the files available. The commission added that Alok Verma, the director of CBI, created willful obstruction in the functioning of the commission. The CVC also said that this is just an interim measure to remove both Alok Verma and Rakesh Asthana for now. And while joining us for the latest on this is Shantanu Sen, former Joint Director in the CBI. Shantanu Sen, thanks very much for talking to us. Your views this evening on what the government has done in this particular case. Are you satisfied with the government announcing an SIT? And does the CVC actually have the mandate to probe the CBI?
In fact, the government has done just what I had said it should do. I made this recommendation in my first channel appearance in Times Now. When 2 senior officers are making allegation of corruption against each other, and both are senior officers, it is essential that it should be inquired into. Now, they are senior officers of the CBI, so CBI itself can't inquire into it. And as it is the practice, when you are under inquiry, you are moved away from your position of authority. We have done that in Mr. Akbar's case, we have done that in Mr. Pachori's case. Senior people, very senior people, ministers, Nobel Prize winners have been removed from their posts so that inquiries can be made against them. So it was a perfectly correct decision to remove them. And I also said that the CBC, which is statutorily, first of all it was the Department of Personnel, but now the CBC is the statutory superior authority for controlling CBI.
Okay, fair enough.
It has every right to control CBI.
Right.
It is actually, so CBC is the right to investigate.
Okay.
CBC also has a police officer as a member. So
I get your point.
I also said SIT should be created, special office.
Yes.
The government has done exactly what I had said, and that was said 3 days ago. So I am entirely satisfied.
Right, you are entirely satisfied. But what about the allegations that the CBI Director Alok Verma has now made in his petition to the Supreme Court, where he is saying essentially that, you know, some of the investigations that were taking place under him were not satisfactory to the government, which is why this has happened. Why do you think that he's made these statements?
No, he has gone to the Supreme Court. Rakesh Asthana went to the High Court. Everybody has a right to seek the protection of the court. The government has exercised its executive authority. The CBC has exercised its powers. Now, of course, the High Court and the Supreme Court are our statutory agencies to look into the exercise and say that these exercise is proper and justiciable. So both are seeking High Court relief. Not all can go to the High Court, Supreme Court. They don't have the money and the lawyers.
No, but
these are senior officers. There must be many people working for them. So they've gone to the High Court to seek whether the orders are justiciable.
Right, but Shantanu Sen, the point here being that
but the order
the point here being that it was Rakesh Asthana who had initially filed, a complaint against Alok Verma in the CBC on August 24th, and the CBC thinks that Alok Verma is not cooperating, and therefore he needs to go on leave as well until the probe is over. And Alok Verma is making the point that the CBC is acting against him because of Rakesh Asthana's complaint.
Doing something first doesn't make it right. So
exactly.
Don't go by the argument who went first and who went second. The point is, are these allegations really worthwhile? Who will judge that? They can't judge for themselves. CBC can't judge, so there has to be an SIT. If there are allegations against anybody, there should be an inquiry. And the allegations have not been made by ordinary subordinates in the CBI. It has been made by two very senior DGP ranked officers. One is junior DGP, one is senior most DGP. So they have to be heard and respected.
Okay.
Otherwise, the CBI will earn a bad name.
Yes, the CBI has already earned a bad name.
Shantanu Sen, if they have done the...
But my point being, as a former CBI director, where do you see the situation being headed? Don't you think that this is an unprecedented situation that the CBI is seeing? And how did it really come to this? We know that there has been a feud between the top two officers of the CBI for months. Couldn't there have been an intervention earlier?
No, it is an unprecedented situation, and there should have been an intervention much earlier. This should have been taken, the CBI should have been taken by the scruff of its neck, and the CBC should have intervened. CBC has failed to intervene, and if the CBC does not report to the government is helpless. We asked the government to keep your hands off the CBI, and the government has kept its hands off the CBI. The CBC had to act, and probably CBI, seeing an unprecedented situation, just got too timid.
Okay.
CBI did not act, CBC did not act. But let me assure you that CBI has gone through bad times earlier also. You know CBI has been named a cage parrot. You know CBI has been called the Congress Bureau of Investigation. You know CBI has been called the Corrupt Bureau. So that means CBI has suffered these ignominies before also.
Yes.
And thereafter CBI has emerged as a very good organization. So
Yes.
it is a setback, probably one of the biggest setbacks of time. But if the notifications issued by Santhanam Committee,
Yes.
by Lal Bahadur Shastri's time, by D.P. Kohli's time, had they been followed,
Yeah.
this state of affairs would not have
Well,
arrived.
Shantanu Sen,
From 2000
absolutely.
onwards, the governments which have been in power
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
made poor selections.
Yeah.
They have not followed these notifications. Result is this state of affairs.
Okay.